Welcome on board of the Boeing 747 of ROTS Airlines. Thank you for flying with us. We are committed to make your flight safe and comfortable. Before we depart, we will show you where this flight will be heading to. Our captain will be pleased if you turn off your phone and stay seated during the flight. Please pay attention to our introduction movie. Robeco, are you ready for takeoff?
How about an investment organization so people don't have to save their money at home? Yes, I think that would be a great solution for saving and investing money these days. I think this building could be a great place to start this idea. Well, gentlemen, shall we go and discuss these suggestions with a big cup of coffee at Annie's? The worldwide influence of Robeco. As you can see, they have several locations in different countries like China, France, Belgium, England and Japan. But the head office in Rotterdam will be in charge of all these locations. After a few negotiations and meetings, the businessmen from Rotterdam decided to invest their money to realize their dream. They happened to expand Robeco with Rolinko, another investment category, and also became partner of Rabobank. After all those years of improvement, they discovered a problem on another level, the human aspect. The employees need to have another form of attention to keep the company successful. They found out that an internal branding process could be the solution. By using a new program named You, the global online collaboration and knowledge sharing platform. The tools were there, but to apply them in practice seemed to be more difficult and above their league. At this point, they considered hiring an advice company to make this project work. ROTS in the internal branding is contracted by Robeco to solve their internal problem. ROTS shows them what kind of problems they encountered by using the theory of the Callaway. A problem is that two people don't know anything about each other's expertise. By using the U program, this problem could be solved. The human factor of helping each other and working together is a crucial factor when a company wants to face an internal branding process. ROTS went on an investigation tour to find out on what level the internal problems were discovered. One of them was the collaboration between the different departments. On the other side of Robeco is an organization where people like to work accurately, be analytical, detailed, objective and careful. Relating to the Callaway theory, one can speak of a blue with a small link to yellow-colored organization. The employees can also be described as individual and independent workers who work by their own routine to achieve their personal goals. Because of the patterns of these employees, Robeco must convince them about the sense of urgency of this internal process to change. Also, the willingness to change should be watched constantly to prevent the cause of corporate silence or demotivation. The managers are the most important group to focus on during the internal change. They need to support and carry the employees to make the change successful. To make the internal branding process succeed, the managers need some kind of tools or interventions to support and convince the employees. ROTS in the internal branding based their advice on these problems. They should be more developing and learning culture, which means that the formal blue color stays present. The green change is going to change the dominant culture color, considering the theory of the Callaway to a green-colored organization culture with a touch of red. ROTS developed several interventions to make this internal changing process a success and make the employees of Robeco aware of the new collaboration of sharing knowledge program. To communicate the change to the managers and employees, ROTS advises to use the two-informed strategy by the theory of Van Ruler. At this stage, the general manager needs to inform all his employees about the change. He can do this by an international kickoff or via a newsletter to reach the entire organization. The future of Robeco with all his changes is also explained during the international kickoff. After the inform phase, the next step is to create a dialogue to get feedback, support and give the employees the feeling that they are involved in this change. By the end of the final phase of form needs to be introduced. By influencing and persuading the employees of Robeco, the communication of the internal change will be a success. The next intervention ROTS would like to add is the intranet of Robeco. This will give the employees an opportunity to communicate together and share their thoughts about all different kinds of subjects. At this internal platform, a guide to walk through the new program will be added. This will be a crucial point to introduce the program to the employees and learning them how to use it. There will be a special option to click on to check the last shared messages of the managers which contain information about their meetings and decisions. To make the employees aware of the existence of this platform, posters will be hung up in the elevators to make them curious. The third intervention contains the actual human aspect. At this stage, people want to give their opinion and share thoughts with their managers or colleagues. By organizing a discussion on group level, the possibility to gain feedback and listening to each other makes the employees and managers more involved. This could be extended by the managers to use the theory of management by walking around. At this point, the managers will notice the behavior, feelings and conversations of the employees during their day at work. The digital newsletter is an intervention which will be successful because of the time we live in. Everything is digital these days, and employees check their email daily. The digital newsletter contains business announcements and other important information about Robeco. Another intervention which would be successful during the internal change are the badges. Robeco focuses on the performance and the quality of their products and services. Also, the employees are thrilled to prove their skills and qualities to the outside world. By using these badges, the employees will be rewarded for their actions. This way of motivating people is used by the red way of thinking, referring to the Decalogue. By using these badges, people will change their mentality to work even harder and together with their colleagues. Motivation is a very important aspect if you want your internal branding process to succeed. Giving colleagues a badge to thank them for their help will motivate them and will improve the atmosphere, including the internal communication in a company. There are several badges which all stand for another goal. The colors of the badges symbolize the colors of the theory of the Decalogue. To ensure that all employees have a high level of motivation, we would suggest to give them the feeling of being in a competition. The first person to reward all the 5 badges will be put in the spotlight and receive an appropriate reward. A simple but productive intervention are posters and flat screens. Besides through the posters in elevators, they will also be informed through the flat screens in the hall. These screens can also be used to inform the employees and keep them informed about the last claims and business statements. The last intervention which ROTS advises is the smartphone app. When all employees receive an iPhone, the importance of the platform and its accessibility is very high at all times. The new working program will offer the opportunity for those working elsewhere to still have access to the intranet of Robeco. This application is password protected, so if the phone is lost, it is impossible for a stranger to access the platform into the intranet of Robeco. Robeco shows the outside world that they adapt themselves with the technology these days. By giving their employees a specially designed Robeco iPhone case, they will promote themselves to the outside world. The app will be very well secured to prevent that non-employees can log in to the intranet of Robeco.
Fasten your seatbelts. Ready for takeoff.